Hi guys, welcome to this new video on Docker. And in this video, I will be talking about the Docker processes and like the basic commands in Docker, like how you can run, create, and execute commands inside a Docker container. So let's get started. So I have logged in into my EC2 instance and I'm running Docker there. So let's see my Docker info there. So yeah, I have to be sudo or else I will not be able to run Docker containers. So let's be sudo first. Yeah, so Docker info. Yeah, so this is my Docker info, you can see. And let's see, let's clear the screen and see Docker version. Yeah, this is the my Docker version. And let's see how many containers I have running. Docker, yes, I have this container running, so I will remove this container. So the command for removing is docker rm and the container id. So I cannot remove a container because it is running. So I have to stop this container first. So what I will do, docker stop. I have stopped it. Now I can remove it. Yeah, so I have removed it. Let's see docker ps. Yeah, there are no containers. And -a. I have this one which I created 3 days ago. I will also kill this. I will also remove this one. That will be docker rm and the container id. I have removed it, so clear the screen. So now let's see what is process id one in my system. So I am in my host system where I have installed my Docker. So I have various processes running in this, like in this host machine. So let's see how many processes are running. You can see this many processes are running in my machine. So I have this one bash. I am inside this one. So this is the bash, and this process ID is 2866. So what I will do, Docker, no, not Docker, yes, grep, and I will use this. I have to use sudo, I guess. Sudo. Just a minute. Yeah, so I have to use like ps eaf. Then I have to grep 2866. Yeah, you can see the parent of 2866 is 2865. So now I will trace this bash process. So now in 2865. 2865 has this parent process as this one, 2864. So I will go to 2864. 2864 has 2863 as this parent process. So I will go there. 2863. 2863 has 2778 as its parent process. So what I will do, I will go there. 2778. 2778 has its parent as 2777. So I will get there 2777. 2777 has 2705 as its parent. 2705. 2705 has 1085. So I will go 1085. 1085. Just a minute. Yeah. And like 1085 has its parent process as 1. So I will see, I will do PSEAF. And if I go, you can see 1085 has a process ID, parent process ID of this 1. So let's see what is the parent process of 1. And parent process of 1 is 0. So this is, I have traced out the traced out the full process. Like we know, like in Linux, we can create a child process using fork function call. So the parent of like the parent process of every process in this source system is 0, which is init. And there is also a new also systemd, which is also the in some machines, which is the parent process of all the processes in the Linux machine. So let's see, let's create a container. Yeah, I have a Jenkins image. So what I did previously was I just traced out the bash process in my system, which led to the parent process as 0. So I wanted to show you like every process in a Linux has its parent process as 0. It will start from the 0. This is the process tree in my like the host machine. Now let's see how many images I have in my host machine. I have Jenkins image. This is present in my local machine. So I will create a container out of it. So the command is docker create. I will give a name. If you don't provide a name, it will take a default name. So I will give Surya Jenkins the name Jenkins/Jenkins. I have created a container, and this is the ID of the container. Let's see if it is created or not. Yeah, so you can see I have created the container. Yeah, so I have created the container. This is the ID of this container. So EAR clear. So it is not running, it is just created. So to run this container, I have to use the start command. So docker start, and I have to use this container ID. You can also use the container name which I have given is like Surya Jenkins. You can also use that also. So let me use that container name. I have started the container, and let's see if it is started or not. Docker. Yes, it has been started and created. It has been up for 5 seconds. So now I'll show you how to like execute commands inside a Docker container. So for that we will use the exec command. So docker ps. I will get the docker ps. Yeah, I've got the container ID. So I want to run some commands inside this container. So what I will do, I will copy this container ID and I will use docker exec. Then I have to give container ID, and there are two modes. You can execute and come back. Like you don't want to get inside the container, so you can use docker exec, then the container ID, then the command you want to run inside it. Let's see, you want to run ls. So I will do that. Yes. So what does this mean? You want to execute ls inside this container. Docker execute ls inside this container, and but you want to get inside the container, and you want to get inside the bash of this container. So what you will do? You will use a flag which is known as IT. This is the interactive mode. But ls is not a like you cannot ls is not a like going process like bash with which you can interact. So when you are using IT, you have to use bin bash, because we as a human beings we talk to the bash, because bash understands our words like our commands. So what I will do bin bash. So you can see I am inside this container and I am Jenkins user. So let's see what I have the process tree inside this. You can see the process tree is 92 and 98. This is the bash I have just created, and this is the ps. If I do ps eaf, you can see the process ID 1, which is the Jenkins, and which is Bintini. This is the process ID 1 of this Jenkins image. If I kill this process from here, the container will exit. So when I ran this image, where did it go? Docker ps, yeah. So when I ran this the container using the docker start, it started Jenkins as it's Jenkins Bintini. Like this is the process. It started at PID 1, and we can see that this process tree is totally different from the host process ID we just saw, because they are the two process like trees are completely isolated from each other. Why I'm saying that? Because here you can see the Jenkins PID. The PID 1 inside this container is Jenkins, but outside, which what we checked before, the PID was init. So from there, from here we can see that the the process trees of the host and this container are completely isolated, and this is what is done by the PID namespace. You can also see the mount points, like the mount points we have here is completely different from the mount points we have in our host machine. So let's see the mount points here, df kh. You can see I have these mount points here, but if I get out of this container, I can get out of this container without killing the process by using control PQ, and you will still see that the container is still running. But if I did control Q, the PID 1 would have been killed, and I would have been like that container had been stopped. So let's see it is stopped or not. It is up for 5 minutes. You can see we saw this is the file system we have using here. We are using overlay file system, and this is the mounted points inside that container. And now let's see the mount points inside the host system. You can see I have came out of this container, and now I am the host system. So it will be df kh. You can see the whole mount points are different, but you can see here this is the mount points. The host can see this mount point, but this mount point cannot see the host, because host is the parent. This is the parent mount MNT namespace, so it can see this created this namespace, inside this like container. So this can see your mount point, but this is completely isolated from like any other mount points. So if we have created another, like let's create another Docker container. Docker create Surya Jenkins. I will give 2 created. Now I will Docker. Yes, I'm doing spelling mistakes. Yeah, so I have to do a flag A because it is not running. Yeah, this is created and this is Surya Jenkins 2. So I will start this one. Docker start. I've started this container and let's see any mount points that got like mounted on my parent namespace. You can see we are at the parent namespace. So df kh. You can see I have 2 overlay file systems mounted, this one and this one. And the reason we are able to see these mount points because this is the parent namespace from which the 2 containers got created, and the mount spaces, since mount points like the mount namespaces got created from this parent namespace. So that's why we can see the mounted like the mount points from my parent, like parent mount. Like whenever doing dfkh, we are able to see these 2 mount points because this is the parent one. We have created these 2 mount namespaces from parent one. That's why we are able to see. Now let's say you want to you want to run a command inside a container, but you don't want to get inside the container. What you will do? You will just do docker exec command. Then you will give the container ID. So I will copy the container ID from here. I will paste the container ID here, and then I will write the command that I want to run inside this Docker container. So it will be ps eaf. So you can see this is the I ran this ps eaf inside this container with this execute command. Similarly, I can run many other commands like the df command. Yes, you can see I have run this df command from here, from the outside. So for running any like for running any like commands from outside a container, you can use execute command. For example, I can also create a file inside the container from outside. So I can use like docker exec the container ID, and I will use the touch command. I will use the touch temp surya.txt. I have created the file, and let's see if the file has been created or not. I will do the same command, but I will do ls tmp. You can see I created a file inside the temp folder from outside using this command docker exec container ID touch this surya.txt. I have created the surya.txt inside the temp folder, and then I just list out the files inside the temp folder, and I can see I have created this file. There is another command docker inspect, which gives you low level information about the Docker container that you are running. So the command looks like this: docker inspect. Then you have to give the container ID. So what's the container ID? I have this one. We'll copy it and I will paste it. So you can see these are the low level information about the container. And let's say if you want to know the IP address of the container, you have got this one. This is the IP address of the container. And thanks for watching. If you did like the video, please press the like button. Thanks a lot. Signing off.